My name is Kaden. This is my beautiful wife, Christina Nurse. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how we paid off $20,000 in 6 months. 6 months.
So I was extremely hesitant to do this video because talking about money was very taboo to me, but I realized that as a community, we can't move forward unless we're transparent about our experiences so that we can learn from each other and encourage each other.
And for me, it was very much the opposite. I unfortunately, love talking about money, and so really happy just to share with you 5 things that we've been able to do in order to, like I said, reduce our debt by $20,000 in 6 months. And so the first thing that we did, and this might sound crazy to some people, and some people might not believe it like a true strategy, but we prayed. And so prayer is so important. And one of the reasons why it's important because it's so hard to break your habits on your own. And prayer is one way to help you in order to do that. If you don't pray, then it's going to be harder for you. It's going to be hard for you, I'll be honest. But maybe you can meditate, that might help you or something like that. Maybe do some maybe that might help you. But really find a way to train yourself and get in the motion and the spirit in order that you know that you're going to tackle and try to break some habits that you already have.
And one of the things we also prayed about was that we'd be on the same page, that we'd be a team when it comes to tackling our debt together.
As you can probably imagine, it was not easy to reduce our debt by $20,000 in 6 months. And so there was definitely some times that, my wife looked at me like, we in this house and I want to go out. And, but prayer is one of the things that kept us centered and on the same page.
Exactly. The next thing that we did was we sat down each month and created a budget. It was very important for us to track how we were spending our money, to see how much was coming in, how much was going out, how much do we need to save in order to reach our goal of paying off the debt.
Yeah, so we actually have 2 types of budgets. We have one budget where we budgeted out how much we're going to make for the entire year and how much we plan to spend. And then, so for the entire year, we have a lot of friends that getting married, and we love you all if you end up seeing this video, but it's expensive, and sometimes you may have to say no, and there's a lot of things that may come up throughout the course of the year or the 6 months or whatever time frame that you set for yourself to pay off your debt, but you really have to force yourself to stick to your budget. And so we'll talk about delaying gratification a little later, but it's so important to find a budget, create a budget, and stick to the budget. And that's the key thing. Some people create a budget and never look at it again for the rest of the month. It's really important to revisit your budget, update your budget, and if you see that your finances are not going according to your budget, course correct as soon as possible.
Next, and this was my favorite, was find ways to treat yourself. Small ways. Something that we did was we bought a movie pass. So every Friday we would go out, see a good movie, date night.
Yeah, and so that's so important because before we decided to buy Movie Pass and really cut back on our date nights, and it's not a life change, it's important to have a date night. I guess it's just a different type of date night. We used to go out and eat a lot, and you'll be surprised how expensive going out to eat, or maybe not, because if you have a budget and you track it, you might see. If you don't have a budget, if you create one, you'll probably see how expensive eating out is. And so I can say that we probably spent $500 plus eating out, and even in one sitting of going out to eat on a Saturday night, you can spend $150, just the 2 of us. Not to mention if you go out with friends, you can easily spend so much more than that. So cutting back on eating out by, doing something like we did. Maybe it's a movie pass, so now you only pay for maybe the popcorns. And to be honest, we bought our popcorns and took it to the movie theaters.
We're not gonna send the video. Delayed gratification. So particularly, it was my 30th birthday.
Woo!
And
Big 3-0.
I love to travel. Wanted to get out of the country for my 30th birthday. But my husband and I were on the same page about paying off both of our cars. So he made me this wonderful dinner. It was the best steak and crab legs I have ever had. And I'm not exaggerating.
She not lying. It was
not
good.
Not exaggerating. And we were able to pay off our car this month. And also, we delayed our trip to go to Thailand in October so that we'd have the money to accomplish our goal of paying off our cars.
And so her birthday, her 30th was in May. And so like she said, we delayed gratification and really just focus on paying off our budget. And we're still going to go to Thailand. That's still on our bucket list, but we're just going to do it in October now. And now we don't have to worry about car payments coming back. And so, and just being able to say that, you know, we don't have any payments in the car. If some crazy emergency comes up, we can sell our cars and, you know, take care of whatever we need to take care of. Most people that I know, and it's not to bash on anyone because we were in the same place, but are upside down on their cars, which means that even if they sell their car, say their car's worth $10,000, they'll probably get $7,000 back for that car. And so they will still owe the bank after selling their car. And so just being able to say that our car is paid off completely, we don't have to worry about that bill eating up our cash flow monthly. And, you know, if we know something really, some crazy emergency hit, we actually can sell that asset now. And, you know, obviously it's not a revenue generating assets, but with Uber it can be, and Lyft. So we'll talk about that also. And so just it's so important to just start developing both revenue generating assets, but you know, paying off the few assets you do have, even if it's a house. One day, we don't have a house yet, but we plan to buy a house soon, and we plan to pay it off in a decent amount of time. Probably create a video in that sometime in the future.
And finally, we increased our income. So by trade, I am a statistician, and in order to get a little bit of extra money coming in, I started consulting and doing side projects in statistics in order to get extra money.
Yeah, so you gotta do what you gotta do. And this is probably one of the hardest things to do, is increase your income. Don't want to make it sound like something that's super simple and super easy for everyone. But with the internet nowadays, there's so much opportunity. And with the type of economy we have where, you know, you can do Uber and Lyft, there's so much different ways that you're able to diversify your income and increase your income overall. So just look up several different ways that you could increase your income. I'm always checking out the internet to see, hey, you know, how can I earn a little extra? And maybe it might be doing like a mystery shop or something like that. There's so many different ways today. And so she's done some side projects and I've done some preaching because that's what I do. Not as a full-time job, but you know, in whatever little you make, whatever little extra comes in, it's so important to put that towards whatever debt you're trying to pay off. I remember about, maybe it might have been in the middle of June or last month of trying to pay off everything, and this lady at my church gave me an envelope. And you know, I was so excited, and you know, not every church folks give you an envelope with money, so it's not a guaranteed. But you know, so when I went home, I opened up the envelope and it had $10 in it, and I was so excited for that $10. I looked at my wife, I was like, "Yes, thank you, Jesus." And because sometimes it's the little bit extra each month that you're able to put towards whatever debt you're trying to pay off, it really does add up. So if you get an extra $5 from somewhere, you know, put that towards your debt. Don't buy an extra coffee with it. And so that's really the things that really helped us to pay off our debt. You know, if you have any any other tips because, you know, we still have a little bit left in student loans to pay off, and we're gonna crush that just as hard as we crushed the first 20K for both of our cars. And so if you do have any tips, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you have any questions for us, you know, this is something that we'll probably do a little more frequently. Just try to create videos to help others, and that's what it's really about, to keep helping each other, encouraging each other on this journey, because, you know, we have hubby and wifey shirts on right now, and we know that especially in the United States, like, so much divorces are caused by money issues and financial issues. So let's just help each other to get right in this area. Whether you're married or you're engaged or you're in a committed relationship or you're just trying to improve yourself in your life, getting your money right is so important. So thank you for watching. You know, feel free to subscribe if you found this to be helpful. Feel free to share with a friend, and feel free to hit us up.
Thank you.
Bye.